watching the sand and dig. Always dig a little deeper. Sometimes it's hard to be my brother's keeper. Love, so you let love in. Baby, I am home in the wake of your skin, and it's crazy how we wear a ceremony. Always be open to your path and your journey. Yes, she cradles my loneliness. A home in a forest nest. Universal test. Feel the weight of my love. Put your hand on my chest and rest in the cradle of my...
Hi everybody, good morning. It is Thursday and we are here for Tune In Thursday, and I am coming to you from Los Angeles. Next week I will be at a very special location in another country, and I'm really excited. I'll be going to Costa Rica. So this week I come to you from Los Angeles, and I'm introducing you to this little one. I have a co-host today, and I'm going to be sharing with you today about, her name is Shakti, and I'm going to be sharing with you about intuition and how profoundly she came into my life based on my intuition. So I'm really excited to share this story with you guys and share with you about how you can dive deeper into your intuition. And let's go ahead and ground ourselves in. Alan, hi, good to see you. We'll let some people join. Happy July 5th. Yes. We just completed Independence Day. So I want you guys to go ahead and close your eyes and come into your space, come into your heart, and observe and notice that yesterday was Independence Day. And on this day in 1776, it was a day of release, of independence from states and independence from strongholds, and we won't get into the whole political side of it, but it is also a day for us independently to come into ourselves. To me, independence is about releasing no longer all those things that no longer serve me. So whether that is relationships, whether that are words, whether that's social media, things that I'm reading or looking at, the release, so I can have this true interdependence. And that all comes from the inside, and that comes to tapping into the infinite divine presence, source, our higher beings. And I want you to breathe that in today, July 5th, 2018. You made it to see today. And let that breath go. Sweet. Good to see you guys. Susan, hi, good to see you. So today I am talking about intuition. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I've been really observing a lot what's been going on in the world, and how a lot of people are feeling confused and they're not really sure which direction to go. And a lot of that has to do with not being able to tap into your higher self. And one of the great things that I have really learned about in my work is, I look at what Gandhi says, and he says that the voice for truth is as loud as our willingness to listen. And it is so true. How often have you not listened to yourself, and you went back later on and you're like, oh, you know what? I really wish I hadn't made that decision, because I knew, my gut sense knew, right? That happens to us often, and that happens when we're not listening. So, really today, I want you to think about how intuition can really show up for you. And one of the ways is through dreams. One of the ways is through a flash of inspiration. It could be through a hunch. It could be through your gut sense. It could be through visioning, through mental imagery. Now, Thomas Edison, when he would go into his intuition, he would actually sit in a rocking chair, and he would go into what you call the land of solution. And in that land of solution, he would hold a rock, and underneath that rock was a tin can. And so if he fell asleep, and when he was going into asking the question to the universe, the rock would fall, and it would take him back into the land of solution and keep him at that meditation state. And that's how he came up with the light bulb. So strangely enough, I really work to study the most powerful minds of the world, and he's one of them. took him 10,000 tries. But that's how he did it, was based on his intuition, right? Because our answers, anything that we are looking to seek, any question that we have, there is a solution. And that solution lies within us. It's just a matter if we're willing to tap into that. And what I'm going to share with you today is how my intuition led me to this little girl. This is Shakti. This is my new little girl. I'm a dog mom to 2 pups, and she has been extremely profound. She's 8 pounds, and she's completely changed my life. Now, when I found her less than 2 months ago on my way home from Shakti Fest in the Inland Empire, and that is about an hour and a half or so from Los Angeles. And I was craving green juice, and I had to have green juice just that moment. And as we got off the freeway, I noticed these 2 little dogs scampering around. I went and picked them up, found them. She was very skittish, very scared. And I took them to a vet to see if they were chipped. They were not. Took them to the shelter. They wouldn't take them because I found them in a different area, so I took them home. And then I had 3. So some of you know a little bit about the story about how I had 3 dogs not too long ago. Now, this dog and the other dog that I found, one was a boy, and then of course this is a girl, they were not fixed. So there were, challenges around that. The little boy dog was challenging Asher. The little boy dog was barking a lot at night and keeping me up. There were so many things that were happening that really were testing my boundaries, my patience, and my love. Of course, my love. Now, one day I found her and the little boy mating, and I was like, okay, I'm at capacity. I can't handle this. So I actually called a rescue, and I surrendered the 2 dogs that same day. And now what's fascinating about that is I was okay with it. Later on, the next day, I wake up and I find I am in meditation, and all of a sudden I see this little girl's eyes, and I hear the voice, and that voice said, "Why did you give me up? I'm yours." Can you imagine what that feels like? Oh my gosh, I had to go into my land of solution. I had to go really deep into meditation. It was like, am I ready to have another dog? I know this is part of my vision. I have a vision for my life, and I knew that it was part of my vision to have a second dog. I just didn't think that it was going to happen now. So after that, I called and contacted the woman, and she wasn't super happy about the situation, but I thought the 2 dogs were bonded, so I didn't want to break them up. Long story short, I went into meditation for the rest of the day, and I felt into her. I felt into my heart, and I knew that if I were to take on a second dog, that my life would change for the next several years, decade maybe. And I went into a coffee shop for a meeting, and there was one song playing. And that song that was playing was Sea of Love by Cat Powers. And as soon as I walked in there, one verse came to me, and it said, "When we first met, I knew you were my pet." And right there I knew. I knew I had to go back for her. And I did. I went and picked her up the next day, and I brought her home with me. I know, isn't she just so cute? And I brought her home with me, and now she's on her way to not only healing, but living an amazing life. Now, I bring that up to you because when have you ever been challenged with a situation or an experience where you were resisting it? Oh, hi, Robin. I know, isn't she amazing? Have you ever been challenged by that and known that this decision was going to change your life, and sat with it and knew that you had to really go into a land of solution for you to make that right decision instead of rushing into things, instead of thinking that we have to do it right now, right this second? Now, You know, it's really valuable when we start to tap into this part of ourselves, because developing the intuition is not easy when we're not used to it. And I'm going to share with you guys a few ways to do that. One of them is to get quiet. If you meditate, I highly suggest it. Start meditating. There are free apps that you can download to start learning how to quiet the mind. That's one aspect. Another aspect is finding the calm. Allow your body to relax. Another aspect is to be still. Another aspect is to listen. And when you hear the sound, when you hear the voice of intuition, it's actually your voice. It is your voice talking to you, telling you the answer. Invite it in. You pose a question, right? You enter into the land of solution. You pose a question. What is the question that you're asking right now? What is it that you want and need to know? And when you enter into that land of solution, keep listening. And stay in the listening. You want to invite this question in. Now, the last thing is posing a question before you go to bed. Now, this is really, really powerful. When I'm really contemplating something, I will literally write down that question on a piece of paper, and I will read it to myself before I go to sleep. So that's the last thing in my brain. And I will let my subconscious work on it. And maybe I'll get the answer the next day, or maybe it will take a few more nights, but eventually the answer comes that feels right. So I highly encourage you to start playing around with your intuition and giving yourself a different sense of independence and allowing yourself to really come into this here, your heart, because this is where it lives. This is where the love lives. If you guys have any questions about this, please feel free to comment below and I will get back to your questions. If you are wanting to dive a little bit deeper and start exploring a little bit more of this, keep watching these Tune In Thursdays. I have more content coming and a free ebook. I mentioned that last week. I have a free ebook that I'm starting to write, and that's 5 ways. Right now it's called 5 Ways to Create and Be Met with What You Desire. All right, you guys have a great week. Mwah. Shakti says goodbye.